Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Hunting with Purpose series. This has been an extremely difficult recording to start. I'm in the middle of a hunt. I have not much health. Why is this? Well, it's because we've got this guy here. His name is Solo, and he is posting quests rapid fire, and these guys just don't have any real setup process to speak of prior to quests actually being parted upon. So I've been trying to set up a recording whilst not being left behind by these guys. It's driving me nuts, but fortunately I was able to do it in 1.5 hunts. So you will be able to experience a little bit of this particular hunt before the, or rather during the recording, or the beginning of the recording. Welcome back, everyone. I still haven't completed my setup process because I don't even have... Well, actually, come to think of it, I don't need to get my phone to monitor the chats because of my current recording setup. I can actually just use my Twitch window here. There we go. It's a little bit weird because consequently I've had to move the game window to the far right of my screen rather than in the center of it. But that's alright. It's manageable. So, what's the situation? I'm here playing Monster Hunter 1. I'm actually really happy that they put this quest on the board, and by they, I mean Solo. It's not really a group decision. It's just Solo presumably posting random things, and then we go and do them with Solo. A rather ironic name for this person, considering that he is so considerate of the fact that we need to progress through the game as well, and so he's posting things for us. But, yeah, I do have every intention of making another weapon other than the Poison Battle Axe, which is what I've been leaning on thus far. It's going to be the Basarios Lance. It's the Venom Lance. It's a rather ugly looking thing, but it's very effective. So, yeah, unfortunately I was not able to contribute very much there because I was spending pretty much all of that time in the quest prior to going live, getting ready to go live. Moribund is sending ki in the chat. I think it's meant to be a laugh. Why he's chosen to use katakana for it, I don't know, but anyway. Yes, we are getting GG in the chat. In the game chat. There's not much you can do about it. One of the good things about finding a Basarios as well is that not only are you going to get mineable materials from the monster himself, you will actually have the opportunity to do some mining at the end of the quest. Unfortunately, despite the fact that I have that opportunity, I was not able to bring pickaxes, but that's alright. I didn't actually have time to set up for this quest at all, pretty much. So I'm not going to blame myself for that much. Even though I really should just have pickaxes on hand at all times. If I run out of them, then obviously I need to replenish them. And my point here, of course, is that I was not given that opportunity. Alright. But yeah, we are just probably going to continue along with whatever quests Solo is going to post for us. I do have a beverage, it's just haven't really had the opportunity to pour it just yet. I will do so. Do I have much confidence in this livestream being interrupted, or rather, do I have confidence in this livestream being able to continue without losing people to play with? Not really. We'll see how things go. But for the moment, they seem pretty consistent. Sorry, having a bad hair day, I think. Yes, definitely having a bad hair day. It's alright. Oh, that's like not okay at all. Hold on. Wow. Yeah, this is like... It feels asymmetrical on my head. And it's bothering me so much. Sorry. Not that it is of much interest of yours. But, or of much interest to you. But yeah. If it feels weird on my head, I'm gonna mess around with it a little while. Okay. This is just, you know, symptomatic of a complete lack of time to prepare for this live stream. I need my my time to prepare my hair. No, I don't. I normally do not. I don't want to mislead you when it comes to that. Literally, I get out of bed and my hair is ready for a live stream, usually. Erdrick has posted something for some different people. It says, or rather, Solo was asking if we still have other quests to clear. I believe I've cleared all the quests in this rank. I actually joined these guys while they were already posting things, so really what Solo is doing is not for my benefit, but rather for their benefit. They are the same rank as me, but I have completed all the quests as far as I'm aware. I'm still not completely sure, but yeah. Even if I haven't done them all, I probably will be able to do them all through these guys. I should mention there's quite a lot of people here in this hall. And I will actually... Well, no, I will continue going ranged here, because I don't really want to use poison against Khezu anyway. Anyway, let's join up on this. I have not yet had the opportunity to go and put things away in the box, just because I am desperately afraid of being left behind. Some of you might think that in a game like this, that's a really... how should I put it? Paranoid way of looking at it. Or an unfounded and unreasonable fear to have. No, it's not. It doesn't matter what game you're playing these days in Monster Hunter. You have to make arrangements for the possibility that you might be left without. So if those arrangements mean literally not preparing for the quest at all, then so be it. Sometimes it's just absolutely necessary. If you're playing with people who are not preparing for the quest, you are putting yourself at great risk of being departed without if you choose to get ready for the quest yourself. That's just been my experience, and I find it genuinely upsetting that this is still something that I have to be concerned about while playing the original game. You know, you would think that the people who would be congregating to play the very first Monster Hunter game would have a better sense of courtesy, and maybe would be slightly more switched on, generally speaking. But they're not. That's just the reality of the situation. The Monster Hunter community is a very sad place, full of people who seem to be functioning on a lean mixture. Hello, Simply Rome. Welcome to the live stream. I think I said hello to P-Berry, but if I didn't, then consider that your greeting. Apparently a game you've been waiting to come out has released today, which is good news. I was playing Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate with a guy yesterday, and he was saying, "Oh, I miss snake wyverns. I hope snake wyverns appear in Monster Hunter Wilds." It was probably the most antisocial I've ever been in a conversation online. I literally didn't respond. I decided that I didn't have the energy to actually respond to that comment, so... it was just weird. I mean, it might not mean much to you, but it's very uncharacteristic of me to just not respond to a person who's talking to me conversationally in a chat. You know, if they're talking directly to me, like just for the sake of conversation, I will respond with something, but I just could not bring myself to respond to what he said. So it was a very, I wouldn't say awkward, but it was definitely a very basic sort of interaction. Seeing as though we are waiting for Khezu to fly down, I might actually get my beverage on the go. Where is my glass? Oh, it's a nice beer today. It's one that I haven't had on camera in years. It is La Chouffe. I do have my La Chouffe glass, which again has not made an appearance on my live stream in years. Back in the days when I used to drink nice beer all the time, you would see this beverage every few months. No longer, I regret to say. This is not the beginning of a revival. It's just well, it's also not a one-off either. I do want to drink nice beverages as often as I can on the live stream, but, yeah. Oh, Khezu is flying down. Let's see if he flies down first, or if I finish pouring my beer first. I think he's actually going to beat me here. That will suffice. How very picturesque. Alright. I hope the game volume is fine. I think it is. If there were sounds coming from Discord, which there shouldn't have been actually, I'm going to close Discord because I don't need it open, just in case, but I don't think it was actually making sounds that would reach the live stream, fortunately. One thing that Windows 10 does very strangely, and I've never been able to make sense of it, is that randomly, applications will not have any sound whatsoever. They will not even appear in Windows Sound Mixer, or whatever you call it, you know, where you open up all of the different sound levels for every application you have open. Well, for very random reasons, or for seemingly inexplicable reasons, there is no soundbar for certain applications. I actually have that issue sometimes when I am going to record something, and then I'm trying to get the sound, and there is no sound, and I check, and there's literally no audio option for that application, in this case a video game. In Windows Sound Mixer is ridiculous. I mean, I don't know how that sort of thing can happen, but it does, and so, fortunately, on this occasion, it was beneficial to me for Discord to be making no noise, because otherwise that would have been coming through on the live stream, and I would have had multiple people checking their Discords, only to realize that it was indeed me who was getting the messages. Well, what I'm describing isn't quite like that, P-Berry, but that also sounds rather annoying. Now, just to make it very clear to all of you watching at home, who do not have personal experience with Monster Hunter 1, what I'm currently doing is using the analog stick to shoot my gun. So reloading is basically all directions except for up. Up is actually melee, but left, right, and down are all reload. Excuse me, I'm wrong. It is just down. What is left and right then? Oh, it seems that all directions... So up and left are melee. Or is it not? Okay, so I don't know what left and right are. Left and right at this stage are nothing. That's lovely. But up is melee. Down is reload. And to shoot, you actually click the analog stick down. You press it down. It's R3. And I just wanted to make sure that you all had that visual in your mind, because otherwise it just looks like I'm playing the game. Oh, this is all fine and dandy, everything is comfortable. No, it's not. There is nothing about this that is comfortable. It's becoming increasingly comfortable. I think I said that in the last recording. The more that I do it, the easier it becomes, but seriously, it's a fucking mess. And I'm actually worrying about my right analog stick. I feel like an analog stick is not designed to be pressed down this often, so I feel like I'm compromising the lifespan of my analog stick by doing this. It's actually funny. It makes sense though, logically. Because normally, in a game where you have that functionality, where you can actually press L3 or R3, you wouldn't do it very often. It's usually going to be for something, you know, like a very peripheral sort of functionality. But no, this is not. This is not at all. This is literally to shoot your gun, so you're going to be doing it over and over again. I hope my controller will survive the stress of that. Cheers, everyone. That's very, very cold. It's been at the back of my fridge for a number of days now. And my fridge gets very cold. It's not like frosty or anything. I've actually had a beer slushy before where it's actually like got frosted bits in it. It's quite funny. Would actually recommend it. It's interesting. It's like, it feels like an alcoholic, you know, fun beverage. I don't really know how else to describe it. Fun beverage was the most descriptive term that I could think of. But it's very cold. And quite nice still. I'm generally of the opinion that the nastier the flavor of the beer, the colder you want it to be. That's more or less my explanation for why lager needs to be so cold, otherwise you turn your nose up at it, quite rightly. I think the colder you make something, the less the flavors can express themselves. I don't know why I'm choosing such poetic terms there, but yeah, you're going to taste less the colder it is, but still, this is still good. But beers like these, actual nice ales, are generally better to be consumed cellar cool rather than chilled. This is very much chilled, but it is what it is. Chilled does remain quite refreshing. So sometimes the refreshing nature of the temperature will actually counterbalance the more muted flavour. As you can see, Khezu can't really lift himself very high off the ground in this game. Monsters in general fly very low in Monster Hunter 1 and Monster Hunter G. But Khezu is just, yeah, he really struggles. He looks like he's too fat to get off the ground, and quite frankly I'd say that's accurate, because for his body shape and his presumed weight, those wings shouldn't even be able to get him off the ground, so I'm actually glad to see a little bit of realism. Just, he can barely get himself over the hills. And, it just looks right. It looks right. Well, yeah, Basarius goes quite high, that's a good point. I don't really understand it. That's what I get for mentioning realism in this game. There is no such thing. What a ridiculous idea. Now, I've got no idea why the death scene was skipped there. You can't even skip the death scene, as far as I'm aware. If you can skip the death scene, I have yet to figure it out. Maybe it's some crazy button on the PlayStation 2 controller that I've yet to figure out. Maybe it's the old turbo button, I don't know. No, it wasn't turbo. What was the button? Anyway, the button that was on the... Am I even remembering that correctly? I need to look at my PlayStation 2 controller. Hold on. Yeah, the analog button. Maybe you press the analog button. Just something that you wouldn't use in a video game. I'm surprised you don't press the analog button to shoot, for fuck's sake. Janai is very grateful for that quest that we did. He is... I don't know who he's thanking. He's bowing to Solo. It's quite cute, actually, in a way. Alright, I might actually bump up the volume of the game a little bit. Not much, just a little bit more than it has been. I like it to be nice and immersive, or at least I do these days. I've been coming around to having a bit of a louder game. I think the reason why I don't have the game volume so loud is because if I allow the game to be louder, there is a higher chance that it's going to become too loud. Whereas if it's not loud enough, I'd still rather that than be in the situation where my voice is being drowned out. That's just fucking unacceptable. Think about it, you know. Like, what's the point of conducting a commentary if you can't hear me? It's better to be able to hear me than to not be able to hear me at all. So the scenario in which there is less likelihood of me being drowned out, like, that is going to be more favourable to me. We've got UFO joining the room. Oh, something about alien species, but it's gone now. Oh, that's interesting. The comment doesn't appear immediately. There's actually a delay. What a strange alien species. Humans. That's a fairly pensive line of logic. Introspective, I think, is the word that I want, but pensive is fine. I'm going to put all this Plesioth stuff away. Yes, I did hunt a Plesioth before I was able to get the recording started. I will show you what I need for my lance, actually. Oh, I can't even forge it yet. Is it in the list? Oh no, it's not in the list, and the reason why is because it will not appear as a forgeable weapon until I am able to acquire a Basarios wing, which is obviously a rare drop, for those of you who recall what it was like to get Gravios wings as well in first generation. Same thing with Basarios wings. Hopefully a little easier, but I don't know. What's going on here? What is on the board? It is, hopefully, something fun. Ear prey hunting. Thank you, says Janai. He's gonna have to calm down with this gratitude. But I suppose it's better to be grateful than to be... what would be the opposite in this case? I suppose it would be entitled, you know, feeling like you deserve to have us all depart on your quest. Better to be on the other end of the spectrum, just being extremely grateful. and figuratively prostrating yourself before the team in deep gratitude. Ear prey hunting. I'm really frustrated by this because I'm going bowgun. I would have liked to have changed to sword and shield, but I just, as I previously mentioned towards the beginning of the recording, I do not have much confidence in my ability to avoid being departed without. At least I was able to put my stuff away this time. That's better than nothing. So is this the 3 eardrum slaying? No, it's literally slay ear prey, what the fuck. Solo does not look very excited by the... I like how Janai is standing there going, why is he not moving? What's he gonna do? Is he gonna join? Is he gonna help? It's slaying ear prey, man. He's the max huntering. Imagine posting a slay ear prey quest for a max huntering. It's rather miserable. So I have no choice but to use normal level 2. So... could you imagine me using Pierce? Can you not? Lance charge me, man. I could very well do without that. Shouldn't be shooting at point blank range, of course. There's a way to... There it is, yeah. Fucking third-person shooter. It's the only way to play. Well, Solo is probably hunting a Basarios, actually. I might join him for that, because I want to contribute and also get my calves. I would feel bad if I were not actually helping to kill the Basarios, and then I just went in there and got the calves. I think there are 2 reasons why. The first is that it would be much more fun than killing ear prey, and second of all, I do actually need Basarios materials. We're not going to get free hunt rewards from the Basarios, it's not really... We're not at that point in the series where... Oh, it is not Basarios, I am terribly disappointed now. Given the fucking locale, I thought that it was going to be Basarios. I don't think that I've ever seen a Kutku appear in this fucking locale. Is this not really strange to you? It's strange to me. This is just wrong, actually, that this monster is here, but I guess in Monster Hunter 1 he does appear. For some reason. Dead chicken in Area 2, says Solo. Yes. So, something that I probably should have said more early on than I am mentioning it is the fact that I've actually ported my save over from Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate on the Wii U to the 3DS version on PC. That sounds a little strange. It's as if there is simultaneously a 3DS PC platform. Obviously what I mean is emulating the 3DS on PC. It's not really an option to emulate on the Wii U on the PC, and the reason why is because you don't have that online functionality. And that's kind of the most important thing, really. I play Monster Hunter to play with other people. That's the situation. I do not waste my time, usually, with building a character that will only ever be used solo. That's just boring and difficult to sustain any sort of interest with. At least for me. Everyone's a little different. I do see people who can entertain themselves in Monster Hunter by killing the same monster 1,000 times and then just getting a faster and faster time every instance that they attempt to kill the monster, but that's kind of not how I operate. That's not where I derive my pleasure. Monsters to defeat has become 10, so we are halfway through. Moving my save over to PC was not that difficult. It was harder than I was expecting for various reasons, but yeah, it was okay. Ooh, not pierce shots. I'm pressing the wrong buttons now. It was okay. There was a little bit of a hiccup, and that was the fact that for some reason, and I don't know why they've done this, it is no longer possible to purchase from the Nintendo eShop. The application that is required to actually move your files from the Wii U to the 3DS and vice versa. You can't actually get it. Now, I do have it for Generations and Generations Ultimate because obviously I needed to bring my Generations save over to the Switch, but I never used that functionality for 3 Ultimate. So, yeah, I was in a bind. I didn't realize that I'd be able to get it from the H shop, which is pretty much your homebrew piracy place, like your one-stop shop for getting actual video games for free via homebrew on the 3DS. I just didn't think that they would have that application there, but I guess they're just ripping everything that can be acquired from the eShop and they're putting it in there so you can actually get it, and I was very glad. I was going to be really upset if that was not possible. So yeah, I got the application via the eShop and was able to perform the transfer. The next difficulty I had was, it's a long story, but basically I was able to get a working game file, and then I just had to make use of a friend of mine, Hey AJ, from Hunsterverse, and he also, I think, plays on the Monster Hunter Old School server. He pointed me in the direction of various mods that are actually required to play the game properly emulated. One of them, of course, being the FPS lock. So the thing with 3 Ultimate is that you cannot fucking emulate that at 60 FPS. There are certain things that are locked to the frame rate. It's extraordinary. So things like the charging of your weapon, the movement of your camera, they're actually locked to the frame rate. So if it eclipses 30, it'll actually change how it works, which is hilarious considering that on the Wii U it does at times go higher than 30 FPS. I don't know what the maximum is, but it's probably like 45. So you can actually expect on the Wii U to have your frame rate dictate certain actions in the game itself, which is absurd and obviously reflective of really terrible game design. If not terrible game design, perhaps we could say lazy game design on the part of Capcom. They could have done a whole lot better than that, but they didn't. And it's still my favorite Monster Hunter game, what can I say? But, yeah, I was able to get it all working. I also made use of the texture packs, which make the game go from looking like an ugly cartoon to looking a little closer to what you would expect to see on the Wii U. So, really big improvements visually, and it's really good. I like the way it looks. What I don't like is that I have to, experience similar things with that to what I would experience with 4 Ultimate. At times you sit there playing the game and you go, oh, that would have been so much nicer on a stationary console rather than on 3DS, and in fact, I have experienced that with 3 Ultimate. But it is what it is. The texture pack is not complete. It will not replace literally every asset that you're going to be looking at. There are certain things that remain unchanged, and it's very glaringly obvious when you come across something that hasn't been changed by the texture pack. But it's okay, it adds a little bit of a derpy element to the whole visual appearance of the game. Whereas before the whole thing was derpy. Okay, so would you rather have little things here and there that are really fucking weird looking? Or would you rather the whole game to look like a giant joke? I'm sorry, some people may have originally played 3 Ultimate on the 3DS and just can't appreciate what I'm saying, but take it from me, hand on heart, that game looked like absolute shit when it came out on the 3DS. It just looked like shit. So, I'm glad that I don't have to endure that sort of visual experience. Solo is asking if anyone is upgrading the Bone Lance path. I will ask Solo. I mean, Solo is not even asking UFO, so I don't know why UFO is responding. He's like, no, why? Have you been in his hunting party? No, of course not. So why are you asking? Or rather, why are you responding? Now, here's the question, or rather the statement that I need to make. I'm making the Venom Lance. Oh, I see. Is he saying that he needs the material? Oh, he's going to give people ear prey hide. Apparently that's something that can be given. Must be... Well, what is the rarity system in this game? I hadn't even considered that. I would actually laugh if this were a game where you could just give people any monster material, but I would imagine that they would have dealt with that from the beginning. I think ear prey hide must be something you can give. The reason why I wouldn't expect ear prey hide to be something that you can give is because it's not something that's used for shot combinations, for example. Ear prey claw, that would make a whole lot of sense, because it is something that is used to combine for shots, but not ear prey hide. So let me see. It is actually rarity 3, there you go. So, very cool. Wow, 35. 35? That's extraordinary. Imagine needing 35 ear prey hide to upgrade your Bonelands part. Well, I don't know, P-Berry. The Wii U version might be locked to 30 FPS, and I suppose it's more likely to be that if certain things are locked to the frame rate. That just wouldn't make sense. I just seem to remember someone mentioning that 3 Ultimate on the Wii U was not locked to 30. I seem to remember having that conversation, but I may either be misremembering the conversation or it never took place. So, Solo is saying that he's going to get off soon, which is fine. And obviously, we're still getting the thank you from our dear friend Janai. That seems to be all he knows in the English language, but there are worse words to use. At least he is being grateful. Thanks for that contribution, P-Berry. For those of you who needed any sort of indication as to whether I'm paranoid or what, just never question it again. Let this circumstance make it absolutely crystal fucking clear that I have no reason to be paranoid. Excuse me, the opposite. I have every reason to be paranoid. Seriously, these people do not give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They will not ask if you're coming. They will not check to see what you are doing. They will just fucking depart without you. They don't care. This is what the Monster Hunter community has become. You can play any version of Monster Hunter. It does not matter. And the incredible thing is that it is beyond my understanding as to why people would behave like this. I don't get it. Like, what does it cost you, really, to just ask where I am? Or to prompt me to come? I've joined you for the last 4 quests, and yet you just instantly depart without me. No consideration as to whether or not I'm coming. No desire to have me on board. Although that's less important. Really, it's just basic fucking courtesy. To be inclusive of a person who has joined with you on several quests prior. You know, if I hadn't actually joined you on a quest before, I wouldn't expect that sort of treatment. You don't have to go looking for people to join on your quest, but someone who has joined you repeatedly up until this point, that's just basic fucking online courtesy. It is not something that you're going to find in Monster Hunter anymore, and it does not matter which game you play, this is exactly what you have to deal with. In this instance, don't you think it's so sad that in this instance, it wasn't even because I was getting ready. I was just relaxing. I was genuinely relaxing somewhere that wasn't where quests were being departed on. And because of my complacency, as if I need to be constantly on guard, aware, ready to go, just like literally on the edge of my fucking seat, watching to see when these people are ready to go. If I'm not in that kind of headspace, I get departed without, because these people are fucking reprobate morons. I just don't understand it. I never will. But hopefully, those of you who come along for the ride with me will, at a certain point, just every single one of you individually, you will understand why I'm constantly concerned about people departing without me. It is because it's endemic. It is that sort of fucking behavior is endemic in this community. So, you know, I don't want people to ever sit there and question or wonder to themselves why I'm so venomous when it comes to how I treat the Monster Hunter community. It's on display every fucking time I play with them. Every time I play with them, it is on display. And their uselessness and lack of courtesy is incontrovertible. They are just worthless individuals, the majority of them. That's what I've come to realize. Occasionally you'll find someone who's actually got a fucking personality and that you can talk to and that wouldn't do something like that. But no, for the most part, you are going to encounter people who literally just don't give a shit. All that they care about is departing on their quest as soon as humanly possible. Doesn't matter, like if you're not there, but too bad. You missed out. Even if there is a perfectly reasonable explanation as to why you were not there in that moment. Doesn't matter. None of it's relevant. So that's the situation. I'm live and I have to sit here doing nothing while these people hunt because they're too lazy to actually attempt to communicate with me, despite the fact they've been communicating with one another. You know, this is not a situation. See, this is great. What a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Someone might play devil's advocate and say, oh, these people might not have the willingness to actually communicate. You know, they don't want to take the time to type to you to ask if you're coming. Well, I just watched them have a full-blown conversation with one another, and then they departed without me. So that's not what's going on here. I'm always happy to present to you circumstances where very clearly there is no good reason for them to depart without me. They are just pricks. They are just useless wastes of oxygen on planet Earth. Which is what it is. And that's why I have such a noxious fucking attitude towards the general populace of Monster Hunter players. But there you go. I don't really have anything to do or say while I sit here waiting for nothing. As you can see, there are two groups at the moment. There is myself and these three. And then there's UFO, Erdrick, and Yursk. They are hunting at the highest level of Monster Hunter 1. They are all in the final rank. Well, not in the final rank, but they're in the final group of quests. And there you go. I should probably try to organize my box a little bit, or my pouch rather. But come to think of it, I've been doing alright so far. I generally don't put much in my pouch. It's only 2 pages, I suppose. That would be the reason why. It's good to carry at least one of both drinks. I tend to do that. Oh yeah, I'm going to purchase some pickaxes. That is something that I have repeatedly forgotten to do. I'm just sort of waiting eagerly for these people to come back so that I can just unload on them. I'll wait for Solo to come first. You thought I left? Why would you think that? The thing is, I'm not gonna unload on them this time, because I didn't see you anywhere. Open your fucking eyes! Check! This is a game where you can't actually see people! Unless they're right in front of you, you fucking clown. I just can't understand that line of logic. I'm not going to unload on them, or Moribund, because he immediately apologized for departing without me. He wasn't so concerned that he fucking came back immediately. Well, no, he must have only realized that I was still here when I was physically fucking standing here. I just don't even know what to tell this guy. That makes no sense, but okay. This is a game where you can... It's not even worth having this conversation. What is the point? He's too fucking stupid to understand... I mean, he's sensible enough to understand that he needed to apologize for that situation, but he departed without me purely on the basis that I was not physically standing here, which makes no sense, because there is no user list that you can look at a glance. It's not there. You have to manually check. What it means is that he never manually checked, and then apparently the fact that he didn't manually check was the reason why he departed without me, like that's some kind of explanation. It's not. You didn't see me anywhere because I wasn't here, so that means you check. I don't know. I simultaneously understand his reasoning, but also do not. It's nice of him to make it clearer to me just how stupid he is. That's the situation. He is clarifying his stupidity to me. He's not giving a reasonable explanation as to why he departed without me. He's telling me, I am a complete fucking idiot and this is why. And someone's going to sit there and say, that's a rather extreme reaction to that situation, Doomlink. No, it's not. I've had to endure this so many times. I mean, just let's deal with the intellect. We've had that guy, Moribund, saying that. I departed without you because I couldn't see you anywhere. I could have been doing anything else that requires me to not be in that room, right? That could be putting my stuff away. That could be eating. That could be getting ready for the quest. That could be buying things from vendors. But he didn't see me where the quest is departed upon, so he thought I wasn't there. In addition to that, we've got Janai, this fucking guy, who has been saying thank you on repeat every single time we've departed on a quest for the last 40 minutes. And that's just what I've been recording. I've been playing with these guys for about an hour. So, and this is all he's ever done. He just goes, thank you. This is the intellect that we're dealing with today. Okay? It's not about being smart. It's about not being fucking mouth-breathingly dumb. And today that is what I'm dealing with. That is the stupidity that I have to endure. And again, someone, or perhaps no one is making this point, but just in case someone, for some reason, has this in their mind, that I'm somehow overreacting to the situation. Consider this a culmination of all the frustration that I have had dealing with these fucking people who don't even take the time to ask if you're coming and just depart without you. It is lazy. It is just unnecessary. It is so unnecessary for that sort of situation to arise, but it happens all the time, and you actually have to be constantly on alert to ensure that you don't have to deal with that. And you shouldn't have to be. I want to make that very clear. There should not be a situation where you have to be so aggressively on alert to avoid that sort of scenario. So I don't care if you want to consider it a fucking overreaction or not. You haven't been hunting in every fucking Monster Hunter game from generations, like literally from the very first game to the last of the 4th gen games, and seeing the exact same behavior over and over again. If you had done, you might fucking understand my frustration. That's what I'll say to any person who thinks that this is a fucking overreaction. It's disappointment to see the same fucking thing in this version of Monster Hunter, you know. You would hope that the community would somehow be a little more filtered, a little less just like they're running on fucking fumes. Like there's no actual substance in their head. But that's what I'm dealing with, so it is what it is. I don't actually think killing the Plesioth is the objective here, but I suppose that's to be expected. That's what we've done prior to this point. It's just slaying Eardrome. I suppose this is the confirmation that the plural form of Eardrome is Eardrome, because it just says slay the Eardrome. Slightly confusing if you're not looking at the objective of the hunt, but that's alright. I suspect that it's not going to completely turn your world upside down if you realize that instead of killing one Eardrome, you have to kill 3 Eardrome. It's not going to be that much harder. Any preparations made to kill 1 should keep you covered for 3. Oh, yeah, that's one thing that I have noticed, actually. The lag is very interesting in Monster Hunter 1. I would assume that it relates to whether it's the netcode of the PlayStation 2 games or what. Thank you, says Janai, for the 1000th time. What was I saying again? I was just totally distracted by the fact that Janai is saying thank you. Ad infinitum. Yeah, so the weird thing about the lag in this game is that it will appear to work perfectly fine. And then all of a sudden, the monster will instant transmission. That is consistent. That's not just something that you will occasionally see. But, yeah. It's one of those things. Looks like Solo is in combat, so... But yeah, when the monster is suddenly teleporting like that, it makes you feel as if the damage you were doing before actually was not going through, because the monster, when you were shooting it, or hitting it, was in a totally different location in actuality. And generally speaking, whoever is hosting the monster, what they see on their screen is what's going to dictate damage application. So, if they weren't making contact with the monster... Sorry, if on their screen you were not making contact with the monster, there is every likelihood that damage was not actually dealt. So, it's a bit disconcerting when I've just been wailing on this monster, and then suddenly it just appears somewhere totally different. It makes me feel like I haven't actually done any damage, and I might actually be well placed to have that concern. I don't know why I'm offering any advice or assistance to Moribund. Solo has added a real nugget of knowledge, which is, as long as it's in your pouch, the armor charm will work. Really? If you want to learn something new, come and play Monster Hunter 1. Thank you! That's the first time Janai has only given us one thank you. That must be a measure of his level of gratitude. He's only somewhat grateful for that information. The notion that power charm is worth it, but armor charm isn't, is kind of absurd. It's the, you know, it's going to have the same amount of difference. The amount of damage that you're going to get on top of whatever you have is going to be just as infinitesimally small as the armor you're going to get out of it, so it depends on what you value, doesn't it? Like, if you're going to value just that little bit of extra defense, like that little bit of extra defense might be the difference between living and dying, but this guy thinks that having that tiny little bit of damage, which of course is going to be the difference between the monster dying within a margin of 5 seconds, is more important than living or dying. Thanks for the info, buddy. That, in addition to, you know, as long as the thing's in your pouch it'll work, quite frankly, has me very well informed.
Practically useless. I'm helping.
Sorry, I'm just extremely bitter at the moment. If it were not obvious. People probably think I'm bitter at the best of times, but you know, if I'm in a bad mood, it sort of escalates the issue. All requested monsters slain, and I had a nice look inside the wall there. Solo has put himself in the unfortunate position of using the same acronym that is used for Good Hunt as Gathering Hall. Saying GH is just dumb. I've never recommended the use of that word because it just doesn't work. If you're going to use GH, there needs to be an established understanding of what that means. I understand that based on the context you can understand the difference, but it just doesn't work for me. I think if you're going to use GH, it should mean Gathering Hub, and then if you want to say Good Hunt, you just take the extra 2 seconds it takes to type that out. Someone's going to say,
Oh, it's not always like that. Sometimes you have to have an on-screen keyboard and it takes a long time to type.
that's not what's happening here. We all have keyboards, okay? So I don't need that counter-argument. I neither require it, nor benefit from it. So, hold your tongue, sir. Hello, Beta. This is why I need to play more Dark Souls. I need to spend less time with this fucking community of people. This community of people. Or maybe I could say community of fucking dropkicks. Maybe I could just put it that way. Then I could still say community. What's that? Ear prey hired? I don't need your ear prey hired. I do not require it. I think I made it very clear that I was not actually upgrading my weapon. It's very charitable of you, but anyway. Okay, so I get to continue hunting with these fools. Thanks for fun hunting times. My favourite hunt was the one where I sat here looking at Mineguard City. That was my personal favourite. I obviously say that in jest. I'm not genuinely angry when I make that point. It's just me being funny or being silly. Okay, yes. Apparently Janai can actually communicate. What's going on? Thank you for everything. Always. Okay. Or you could just go, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I find that is more simple. Less effort. What are these guys doing now? I'll just tag along. I don't have the... I'm not in the sort of mood to ask to do anything for my benefit right now. I'll just tag along. That'll do me fine. So, I probably do need to improve my gunner loadout, but the way that I look at it is that I already have reduced defense, so I'm not going to take the time to make a low rank gunner armor set. I just don't see the benefit. Actually, come to think of it, there is no real distinction between low rank and high rank here, so maybe I won't bother upgrading it at all, actually, the whole way through. Because even as you go from low rank to high rank, you're not really using different equipment. The quests that you depart on are different, but the rank of the equipment is not going to be different at all. So, what I mean by that is that if I make Rathalos armor in low rank, that is still going to be appropriate level gear for the end of high rank. It's a weird thought, but it is true. The difference between low rank and high rank is more reflected in the quests themselves, rather than what you can get in terms of armor and weapons. Who have we got? Someone's joined the location. It is Faron. He is hunter rank 11. We now have a full team of people basically hunting at the same rank. Now, Faron is technically... No, he is still... I think it's HR 12 is the first rank of high rank. So he's still at our level. It begs the question as to what's going on with my rank. I mean, it looks like I'm almost at 11, but I don't know if I'm just going to immediately progress to that or what. Maybe I don't get the urgent just yet. See, I had this expectation that I would get the urgent quest at HR 10, but it hasn't happened, so I'm guessing that I must get it at HR 11 or 12, something like that. I'm not completely across how that works, but... I'll check the playlist to see who's still here. So Moribund and Janai are in the list, but they're not here, so they must be gone. They must be gone. Where are they? Where do they go? What could they possibly be doing? I will say hello to Mr. Faron. This is actually a great view. Yuki has joined as well. Are we at 10 yet? We are at 8 people. Oh, it's becoming awkward. We've now got 5 people who are at roughly the same rank, so I don't know how we're going to actually form teams. This is going to turn into a first come, first serve sort of situation. Or first in, best dressed, depending on what kind of phrase you want to use. So, I'm first in, best dressed, so maybe we do what I want to do. Ever thought of that? I'm not going to do Volcano... Well, actually, I should do Volcano Valor, because I think... Or is it not? I think the Fearsome Gravius is the key quest. I don't think Volcanic Valor is actually the key quest. I hope I'm correct in saying that. I sadly do not have Basarius. That is what I was intending to post, so I might post Gravius, maybe? Might backfire on me a little bit. It depends, like, whether or not this is a good choice will depend on what other people are using. Gravios obviously is not a comfortable choice for most Blade Master users, and it's uncommon to find people using a bowgun here at this rank in this game. So, for me, I always have one on hand as an option, because I might need to kill a Gravios at some point. Literally, Gravios is one of those monsters where I'm actually willing to make a whole set just to fight him. So, I don't know if anyone else has taken the time to do that, but... yes, I will stand here with my quest, and hope that people join. Really, I should just communicate my intention to post, and then look for some sort of consensus there. But I'm feeling exceedingly antisocial at the moment, so I'm just going to post my quest and stand here. It's become a bit of a standard modus operandi. In the community. This bottle was so cold that it has just leaked water everywhere. Just the moisture on the bottle itself has flowed out across my table. Good thing I don't have electronics on this table. Oh, wait. That's alright. My electronics have done very well, despite all of the liquid that I've subjected them to. Just in general, over the years. I don't know how my stuff survives, but it does. Whatever table that I use to record my live streams, it gets annihilated. I actually destroyed a laptop doing that, believe it or not. Using my laptop as my table, it is ill-advised. That's what I would say. Don't do it. I didn't actually destroy the laptop. I destroyed it cosmetically. It was gross. Like dry fucking beer on it and stuff. Why don't you clean it, Doomlink? Well, I did. It's just on occasion I'd forget, and then it would dry. You know, like after a 6-hour-long Wind Waker Japanese GameCube version fucking recording, and I'm spent. You know, I'm deep into the beer and whiskey, and I'm like, ugh, and I just pass out. Yeah, it's gonna dry, isn't it? It's gonna dry on my laptop. It's what happens. Alright, so I've got 3 people here. Hello, Faron. How you doing? And Yuki. You know what? I'm playing with these 2 people. Fuck these. Fuck Moribund and Janai. I'm not hunting with them anymore. Let's get going. Am I actually okay with my loadout? I am very much okay with my loadout. Alright, let's get moving. I did actually mention in a previous recording that you don't have to wait until they're ready up to depart. But I want to make sure that they are themselves ready. I want to see that they have signaled their intention to depart with me on the quest. Otherwise it feels like I'm really dragging them along. I actually forgot that we were doing Gravios. So, I thought this was Basarius for some reason. So, I hope we'll be okay. Faron should be okay, but anyway. I do have some additional ammunition in the box if I run out, but it's not much. It's literally 10 of the 2 shot types that I'm shooting at the moment. Does my gun actually shoot level 2 pierce? It does not. So I really should have brought normal level 3. That would have made a lot of sense. Anyway. What did I take from the box? I haven't even been keeping track. I took fuck all from the box, actually. Okay. As for where the monster is, I'm not too sure. But it won't be hard to find him. But yeah, this is going to be a high health monster. This is probably the hardest monster that I've fought on camera in Monster Hunter 1. So we need to take care. I need to play carefully, although it is Gravios, I'm not that concerned. I'm mostly concerned about running out of ammunition. Seriously. My DPS will remain fairly high because I will not struggle to deal with the Gravios. I know how he operates. I know how to avoid his attacks, so my DPS is likely to be quite high. So it just means that I'm probably going to be in a situation where I actually run out of ammo, and then I have to go back to the box just to get 20 extra shots, and then... what is with all this signaling? You're signaling, and then the monster's not here. So, I'm not sure what's going on. Has he progressed to 7 or 6? I don't know. But what I can say with some confidence is that I'm rather confused. I think he's gone to 7 or 6. Judging by where they have gone, despite being unable to find him. He is in 7, very good. I would rather that he be in 7 than in 6. Well, you never know, maybe Yuki is just pinging for fun. Because that's how it felt with the previous pings. Because they did not actually result in a monster being confronted at all. What's going on? Is the monster here? You're not in combat. How are you still not in combat after having gone that far? He is there, okay. My question remains, how did you avoid being in combat for that long? Jeez. Obviously, my pierce shots are ideal. When I have to move on to normal, I will use them. I think my bowgun's fully upgraded, although I'm not completely sure. I hope it's fully upgraded. If it's not, then it is 1 level shy of being fully upgraded. Should be sufficient. If it seems like I am not aiming very well, it's because the sensitivity of the aiming is actually higher than I was expecting when I first got into gunning in this game, and I still have yet to get used to it. Gotta love that wall recovery. Looks like Yuki's not having much difficulty hitting the monster, so that's good. Obviously the stomach is soft. Yuki's greatsword's actually very good. I didn't check the upgrade level, but it seems to be the raw-based Rathalos greatsword, which is pretty damaging. Oh. It's getting a little bit dangerous. Very good. You can see Yuki is now bouncing quite a little bit. I was hoping to see a little bit more focused attacking on the stomach where it is not bouncing. I do plan to do an update video after this recording, by the way. Just talking about the channel and the state of it. and about how I'm going to proceed with the live streams. No, nothing bad. Nothing bad. It's basically going to be talking about how I'll do less Monster Hunter and a bit more other stuff. Obviously to the severe detriment of any sort of viewership that I have, but what am I fucking sacrificing? You know, like, what am I fucking sacrificing at this point? I have to focus on what's fun, because I'm not getting anything viewership-wise out of sticking to Monster Hunter. I mean, I sort of am, comparatively speaking, but it's nothing of real fucking significance, so what? And quite frankly, the infuriation of hunting with those people previously, I feel like that is offering a bit of context for why I'm making that decision. But anyway, I'll go into it with a bit more detail in time. Interestingly, there is deviation on this gun. There is no such thing as deviation, though, at this point. So why does it feel so inaccurate? I suppose it's possible that guns were just less accurate originally. But when you watch me shoot these normal shots, they do not go in a straight line. It feels like left-right deviation. You see that? Like, if you watch the crosshair, and then watch the traveling of the shot, it is not always on target. You see that? Especially that last one. There might be deviation and they don't tell you. That is possible, but that's really mild deviation. That looks like mild left-right deviation, but I don't know. Hello, Hosing. But it is hidden to the point where I don't even think it can be addressed. There is no precision skill in this game to reduce deviation. I mean, unless you can get a bowgun attachment that reduces deviation. Maybe one of the attachments reduces it. But yeah, I can tell you that this is not perfectly accurate. I have a feeling that rather than it being a hit, well, it depends on strictly how you consider it to be a hidden parameter. I mean, I think it might be more to do with the idea of Capcom wanting bowguns to be inconsistent by design. There might not actually be a variable deviation. Depending on which gun you use, they might just all be slightly inaccurate. Their intention being to make the gun as realistic as possible. I'm not sure. Yes, critical distance is definitely relevant. It exists. They definitely had that decided upon from the beginning. I don't know if we're doing alright. I hope we are. Inevitably, I will run out of ammunition. I will take the journey to camp to go and get it. Hopefully they will understand. Well, actually, I can communicate with them. I do keep forgetting that I have full in-game fucking, or rather in-hunt, communication with these people. Yeah, the first Monster Hunter game, and it has more communication functionality than the fucking 3DS games, who would have thought? But anyway. I say who would have thought sarcastically, because it has always been my position that the 3DS games have been a step backwards in certain regards for the series, but yeah, I'll let them know that I need to get more ammunition from the box. And that way there will be no confusion. He's rolling over. Poor bastard. That looked more like an attack than a flinch. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I can't possibly know that... What, on his screen I didn't hit the bomb? That must have been what happened. So on his screen, my shot did not actually detonate the bomb, but on my screen it did. But because it didn't happen on his screen, he just didn't get hit, which is pretty good. I can try and paralyze him. I don't know if 10 shots is going to be enough. But the good thing about the stun shots, or paralysis shots, whatever you want to call them, is that they do actually deal a bit of damage on their own. Sadly, I won't be able to contribute when the monster is paralyzed, but that's alright. There you go. Go for it. For ultimate, I don't think you can freely chat. No, I don't think you can. I really don't think you can. I know why you think you might be able to, but I'm pretty sure you can't. I don't think you can just type whatever you want in for ultimate. So... And the reason why is because I've always attached that lack of functionality to the 3DS itself, so I wouldn't have thought of it in those terms. I wouldn't have considered it to be a 3DS specific lack of functionality if the functionality was there for Ultimate and then was lost in Generations. Yeah, no, they don't do it. You have to use shouts during a hunt. You have to. So, yeah. I'm pretty sure. Oh, I didn't actually tell them what I was doing. It's a little bit slow going, but I can't really contribute, can I? With my current ammunition. I would have brought normal level 3 if I had actually taken the time to prepare myself for a Gravios hunt, but the point is that I failed to do that, so... Sad as it is. Good luck, says Farron. Well, I do know that ammo is in the box. I wasn't just praying that there was ammo. I knew that there was some. But yeah, once I run out of this ammunition, it's all on them to finish the hunt. I feel bad, but if I can't contribute, then that really is the beginning and the end of it. I can't really do anything. It would actually be useless for me to go in there and melee the monster. The level of contribution would be so low that there would just be no point. I should have just gotten more rations. Oh well. He looks so silly when he's rolling around. I will carve this tail now, because otherwise I will forget to do it. Hey, Ron Money. I feel like that wasn't even 10 shots. That felt like less, incredibly. Oh, we've got a limping Gravios, which is very good news. It means that I will not be standing around doing nothing for quite as long as I suspected I might be. Okay, I think we're quite close, to be honest. I haven't even used any potions in this quest. Or first aid meds, that was the first that I used. If I had actually brought normal level 3, I think we would have been... Well, I would have been perfectly fine, at any rate. My character is sweating even though I have cool drinks enabled. That's one of the weird first-gen features. I'm very concerned about you actually killing him there, Farron. I would much prefer if you didn't do that. None of us are going to benefit if he dies there. We're going to get precisely 0 carbs, and you're going to hate yourself for doing that. On top of that, Yuki can't actually contribute right now, so... Oh my god. Maybe I'll just go and do some mining. That might be the best thing for me to do. For myself. If Gravios dies in the lava, I'm going to scream. I won't actually, but internally I certainly will. I don't want to debase myself by randomly screaming, but... inside I will be. Sorry for mining while you're hunting, but I can't contribute, so I may as well. It is technically my fault that I can't. That was a very good node. This iron pickaxe that I have is really lasting well. You'd think it was a mega pickaxe. Some mega pickaxes don't last this long in this game, actually. It feels almost entirely random. Sometimes. Should I continue mining? I think there's one more node. I'm gonna get one more node and then I should be able to manage the calves as well. Let's see what we can do. Farron says dead. This guy thinks that I haven't noticed the quest is over. I mean, I'm not going to grill him for it. I'm not going to absolutely lay into him. It's coming from the right place. It's coming from a place of, you know, concern for me. You know, but he actually thinks that I haven't realized that the quest is over after having the quest end music playing and having the message "all monsters slain" appearing on the screen. Jumping Jesus. Oh, don't worry, I've already taken care of the tail, my friend. It's actually a bomb. Oh, I thought there was a bomb set up near the tail. That would have been quite funny. Oh, I didn't get all my carbs, sadly. 2 is better than 0. I just felt like I wanted some mining materials there. Felt like a better investment of my time. The average player count. On a good day you can get about 8 people. On a slow day, it'll just be you. The largest number of people I've seen playing is about 10. When I joined to start this recording, when I joined Mindguard, or Redland, whatever you want to call it, I was the 9th player, so there you go. Depends on the day, but it's not a lot of people. Yursk is sleeping. I will actually go to the bathroom. If I miss out on a quest for one reason or another, so be it. But well, nature calls. Yes, nature calls. I'll be back in a moment. N10 reminding me that I'm still muted. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. I was actually saying hello to you, and I was also saying that there seems to be no consensus as to who is joining what quest. I think there's going to be a little bit of confusion there because there's a lot of people. The playlist is large. We've got Yuki, we've got Faron, we've got myself. I'd rather these three hunt as a group. Yeah, I much prefer that idea. They can go and hunt together. That works really well. Then Faron, Yuki, and myself can go and play. I'm actually clarifying that because Moribund has departed without me in the past. Although he's not the host this time, I thought it would be good for me to clarify that for them. Saves them having to deal with my complaints if they departed without me when my intention was to join them. Any opportunity that I can take to avoid hunting with them is one that I will take. I don't think so, Ron Money. I don't think that it's a situation, for the sake of the Vault audience, I will say that Ron Money saying it's sad to see the older Monster Hunter games slowly losing their player base. I don't think that's what it is. It will constantly fluctuate. Obviously, there are not as many people playing, say, 3 Ultimate as when it came out, or Tri as when it came out, but there is always going to be a fluctuating group of people that will be playing those games. It's always going to be enough to sustain some kind of online play. And I'm really glad that the community is able to sustain online play. You know, the fact that you can play online in Monster Hunter 1 is amazing. And in Monster Hunter DOS and all of those other games. So, I don't really feel like it's dying or anything like that. I'm not sure what Yuki and Fardon are doing, but I'll wait for them. I might put my stuff away in the meantime. I should check to see if Basarius is on my quest list. If it is, then I will post that. Let us find out. Nope, doesn't look like it. Oh, here it is. It is actually in this quest list. Basarius the Invisible Terror. Oh, well, if UFO wanted to join us, that would be cool. It looks like one of the players that he was with is not currently playing, so... Oh, UFO can help. Happy to hear that. That will speed up things immensely. Fear not, for I have the quest, my friend. Okay. So UFO will join, and I will try to wait for Fardon and Yuki. Now, I'm very much in two minds about a 10-player gathering hall. That was the standard in old Monster Hunter. Pretty much in all the first-gen games, in fact. And then the only second-gen game to do it was DOS. Wing is high rank, is it? Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I didn't realize. Well, that's good to know. I've been wasting my time grinding Basarios. That's the problem. So this is precisely what I'm talking about. When I mentioned that there is no noticeable difference in rarity, for example, between a low rank and high rank weapon or armor, the difference is instead going to be from the materials that you get from the quests or the quests themselves. So the quests might have a stronger monster, but it looks like the materials are the same rank because it's not differentiated by standard, plus, and then the G rank naming. It doesn't exist. It's just like G rank is plus, but then anything low rank and high rank is really abstract. It's very unclear. You need at least HR 13. Well, fuck me. I've been wasting my time. That's alright. I'm glad that I know now. Fucking stop. Jesus. I would like to... I'll show you what I'm doing. Circle once, twice. Circle. I'm just not used to having so many prompts and... Anyway, doesn't matter. I just had no idea, actually, that it was a high rank material. You actually don't know. You have no way of knowing. If it's got a plus, you know that it's high rank, but if it doesn't, you just, I don't know, grind for something that doesn't exist. It's absurd. I hate that fucking system. What a terrible idea. What awful game design. It's absurd. But anyway. I'm happy to be corrected on that. Not sure what Faron and Yuki are actually doing. They've been gone for a while now. So... how much more HRP do I need? A little bit more. So, I might actually look at the event quests. Feline hunting, well that's not going to be good for HRP. I do want to do more with Its Banes. I don't know about near future. I'd like to make it something that we do every 2 or 3 months. I'd like to make it more frequent than it has been. Obviously, like, there are obvious difficulties with that, but I'm willing to get up early. I feel like I'm the most inconvenienced by the whole setup. You know, like, I sort of take it on my shoulders to get up at a fucking unreasonable time, because I feel like I can be flexible with that. I haven't checked if he can be, but, you know, if I'm willing to do it, then that's fine. So I'll just continue getting up at a fucking weird time. And I think as long as I'm willing to do that, it should be okay. So it's almost in my hands as to how frequently we do it. So, yeah. He sort of approaches it in a different way. He almost has his own series around it. It's called Day with Banes or whatever. And, I never approached it like that. I thought that it was more like an opportunity for us to have our own thing together, you know. That's what my series is, you know. I don't have a series where, oh, come and play with me. Not that that's a bad thing that he has it, but it's more that that's not how I approached it. So... what is the UFO posted? Need fangs, he said. Oh, Jesus. Okay, well, if you need them, I guess. I don't know where these other two are. They've just been gone for so long. Yeah, they've been gone for long enough for me to think that they're actually not coming. I have made an executive decision that they are AFK, or not coming. So, I'm going to just hunt with UFO now. Yeah, this is what I want. No. Slowly but surely getting my Rathlos gear equipped onto my person. I am not going to eat because I don't have the time. I will benefit minimally from eating, so I'm not going to actually expend the time to get that tiny benefit. Couldn't be bothered. Maybe they were already on a quest, those two, and but I don't think so. That's why I checked the chat log. I couldn't see those guys actually departing on a quest. So, but it looks like there's 3 quests, including this one, there's 3 quests going, so I don't know. Maybe I've been waiting for nothing. It looks like at the moment, I'm just working on HRP to get through to high rank. It's a slow process. But patience will no doubt be rewarded in time. N10 reckons they left right away. I don't know. There was no indication of that in the chat. I remember seeing them when I had returned from the quest with them. Like, the last quest that I did was with them, and I remember seeing them when I got back. And then there was no indication that they had departed at any point, so I don't think they are on a quest. Although I don't know what those 2 quests are that are currently in progress. Oh, well apparently you're better at reading the log than me. I don't... no, hold on. You're talking about different people, N10. Christ. You're confusing me. There was a different group. Remember, there's like a maximum of 10 people that you can have in this hall. It was a separate group. It involved someone named Moribund, some other guy, and a third guy. It showed them departing, but then the other text was me returning with Faron and Yuki. So no, it did not show them departing. You're making me second guess my own reading comprehension now. But yeah, seriously, the chat log did not show them departing. So... Anyway, let's look for our friend, the Velocidrome. Is it just one that we're killing? It is 3. Thank you, Hossein. That was not in doubt. There were not a total of 10 people. I was just reminding... Anyway, it doesn't matter. If N10 had seen 3 people depart, and then saw the both of us in the hall waiting for other people, he may have forgotten briefly that there could actually be more than that total number of 5 people. Well, no, that would be 4. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't know why it was limited to 10. Might have been because of either hardware or network limitations, but I think it has to be limited to something. Not sure what UFO is doing, but that's alright. Oh, looks like our friend is poisoned. This music is far too dramatic for a Velociprey, or rather Velocidrome confrontation, it has to be said. Alright, I will carve you because who knows, I might need your stuff. This guy who is ranked higher than myself needs his stuff, so I never pass up on carves. Yeah. I think he spawns in 10, so I might go to there. I could be wrong about that, though. We'll see. But yeah, the hunting with purpose recordings in this game are going to be mostly basic hunts, nothing very fun. Remember, Hossein, it is one of 3 monsters, so it is going to have reduced health, and it is a Velocidrome, so it already has low health. But yeah, all of these hunts are going to be very basic. Or at least a majority of them will feel very basic. Hello, Potato. I don't know what UFO is doing. I'm doing this quest for him. Oh, I see. He's doing it for Velociprey claws, not Velocidrome claws. That was the confusion. So he posted a Velocidrome quest and said that he needed claws. He was not referring to this item that I have highlighted now, because I can see that he is taking the time to kill Velociprey rather than the actual Velocidrome. There he is. I don't know where the hell he fucking appeared from. How are you glitching like that? It's only me here, come on. It's always good to see the Velociprey flinching the drone. Can't fucking see anything. I mean, I can see things, it's just awkward. A large monster is a large monster, Hossein. Doesn't matter if they're of a very low tier or not. UFO is here! And I'm sharpening for a Velocidrome hunt. I'm not really looking forward to my urgent quest into high rank. It's going to be Lao Shanlong. I was reminded of that by the fact that UFO was using a Lao Shanlong weapon. And goodbye. I might do some carving as well. Increase my stamina. A rather strange sight. Literally what is going on. We're both using Rathalos, actually. It's a good side-by-side comparison for the male and female armor sets. The original armor sets, although I think they were largely unchanged, or entirely unchanged, up until Freedom Unite low rank. Yeah, no, I don't want to even imagine what it's like to grind a Lao Shanlong gem in Monster Hunter G. Ugh. Makes me shudder. Hello. Yeah, I knew I was going to jump into that. Oh well. Nope, never mind. I was looking at a Velociprey, thought it was the drone and went to attack it, but then I realised that the prey was not getting back up and the and UFO was indeed fighting the actual monster. All requested monsters slain. There you go. Close up of dead dinosaur. There you go. Yeah, this is fucking Dinosaur Hunter, this video game. I do remember thinking that when I first saw Monster Hunter. I remember thinking, well, no, it was really the dragons that made me think that it was acceptable for it to be called Monster Hunter, but I remember being struck quite early on by the fact that most of them just look like dinosaurs. Or some of them did anyway. I'm surprised Capcom didn't just do that. Dinosaur Hunter. Dinosaur and sometimes Dragons Hunter didn't have the same ring. I wouldn't put it past them, to be honest. The Velociprey Lords. It's a very dramatic name for Velociprey, or well, they are definitely. I feel like there's a better term than Lord, given the fucking context. I mean, really, a Velocidrome is a Velociprey Lord. Are we sure about that? Is a Velocidrome deserving of that kind of exalted title? Somehow I don't think so. This item is for gunners. Sorry, I forgot that I was not gunning anymore. Man, these guys don't give... Okay, Pharaon is back. Can I just again go through the chat? Oh, I can't go through the chat log and show N10 that he was misleading me unintentionally. But Pharaon has posted something on the board. He's ready to hunt. And I'm going to see what it is. It is... Leaders of the Earprey. Literally the fucking Eardrome version of the quest we just did. Gib-Sec. Yes, that's fine. I've seen a lot of things sent online, but Gib-Sec is a new one. It's like the ultimate internetified term. Give me a sec. Give us a sec. Give sec. Gib-Sec. I just, anyway. I actually can't handle how internet that is. Internet language has become a new language officially. Gib Ploz. Yeah. Oh, don't remind me of Ploz. Ploz went out of fashion very quickly, and I'm glad that it did. Ploz. Fucking hell. Hold the phone. There's another guy. There's another guy. Don't you dare depart with us. I'm letting him know. I don't want him to get too excited. Pharaon says, oh, KK. He would not have even imagined for one moment that UFO would actually be coming. So I'm glad that I'm here to let him know. It's fucking hell. Yeah, I had, look, I'll tell you, P-Very, I had totally forgotten about Ploz, and I do not regret having forgotten at all. The days of LeetSpeak were probably the darkest days of the internet. Well, no, there were worse times. Like the birth of the darknet and other things. But LeetSpeak being used as if it's like how we're actually going to communicate. Okay, we're going to communicate now with this fucking fake language. Because obviously it was a utility to start with, like it made sense, of course, to shorten things like AFAIK, you know, like that's fine, but once you start writing shit, like taking actual words and then just replacing things with letters. Or replacing things with numbers and then changing the letters, that was terribly unhelpful. What I'll do is I will ready up, and then I'm going to turn on my good old-fashioned air conditioning unit. I'll be back in a moment. I'm back. I had a funny moment, actually, just yesterday, when I learnt, this is on the subject of, archaic fucking internet terms like PLOS and, Woot and whatever else exists, Pwned, etc. And, I was thinking about, or I wasn't thinking about anything in particular, I was looking at old YouTube channels that I used to follow on the Wayback Machine. And, looking at the old comments, this is going back like 2007, 2006, I was looking at, the comments on the YouTube channels. Now, keep in mind, back in the old days, you used to actually use the comment section on people's YouTube channels as a place to chat with the creator in question. Like, your YouTube chat on your channel was a place to communicate. I have, for many, 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 many years, gotten a lot of shit from people for using proper grammar and proper syntax when typing on the internet. I always use a full stop. I always capitalize when necessary. And people are like, why do you type like that? They think there's an ulterior motive. They think I'm like trying to project something or, present myself in a certain way. And I realized, looking at these old comments from that period of the internet, like looking at those comments, I realized why I do it. It's because that's how people typed. Like, all of these comments were typed out in that way, like you would type out an email. And then I realized that's why I do it. I never questioned it. I never, fucking changed the way I typed to fit with how other people started to do it. I just kept with how I originally did it. And it was just really curious to see the origin of something that I never thought about. I never knew why I did it. I obviously justified it by saying, oh, well, it's a good idea to type in correct, syntax, because then you don't have to think about it when you want to type correctly, like with an email, for instance, something in a more formal setting. But looking at those old comments many, many years ago, that actually showed me the origin of it. It's like, oh yeah, that's how we used to do it. I had a similar situation looking back on, like, old servers of mine on Discord. I have to tell you that on Discord, it wasn't until, like, late 2016, early 2017 that you could actually have images instead of emoticons. Like, you could actually have an image to effectively be an emoji. And really, the advent of emojis, and in the case of Discord, having images for emojis, like your own custom picture, that completely changed the landscape of online communication. I look back at 2015 and 2016 conversations on Discord, like with myself and people that I still talk to, and the fucking text-based emoticons we used to use, just, it's so cringeworthy, because compared to actual custom emojis, it's just terrible. Really quite awkward, and it looks really cheesy and really silly, but it's amazing you don't realize it. You don't realize that this has changed. It's only until you look back at old conversations where you never even questioned it. That's how you typed. It was a remnant of the old internet that still existed, even as late as 2015, 2016. And, all the different weird emoticons you could do with symbols on the keyboard, that was almost like it was like a lexicon that existed in your mind, and you would use that to express yourself. Well, you just wouldn't do it anymore. There's no reason to. It doesn't exist. I mean, if you're still on weird, I don't know if it still exists, but things like Chatango, if that still exists, maybe you would do it there. I don't know, but seriously, when I looked back at old conversations where I was using regular emoticons, where I wouldn't even dream of doing it now, and, people that I talk to regularly today, where I can look back at things that they were saying, 8 years ago, and it almost feels like a different person because they're using emoticons. It really struck me. It was so interesting. But yeah, I think you forget how the internet once was, when you just allow things to change and then you adapt to that. But one thing that I never adapted was how I type. I always type with proper syntax, and I didn't even know why, really, until I looked back at old comments from, you know, the early days of YouTube, and I realized, well, it was perfectly normal to type like that back then. It wasn't questioned, it wasn't unusual, and just continued doing that. So yeah, it was fascinating. And of course, you know, maybe that means that I'm really inflexible. Maybe I don't adapt. There are plenty of people who have been on the internet for much longer than I have. You know, going back into the 90s, who will not type like that, you know? It's just, for whatever reason, I'm not as flexible as they are, or I don't adapt to the environment in the same way. Maybe I was just really pig-headed about that. I was like, well, why am I going to intentionally... Why would I intentionally type incorrectly? Just because all of you are intentionally typing incorrectly. It never reached the point where it became intentional to do that. So, I still type correctly. Sometimes I don't, for various reasons, you know, like sometimes I'll use an emote to serve as my full stop, or something else. Maybe it's a phrase that exists in a vacuum that's not meant to be a sentence, and then I won't put a full stop, but yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I think that's true, Hossein. I think people did it for fun, like do it for the meme sort of thing, which was not the terminology used when that first came about, but still same concept. Yeah, you start off doing it ironically, and then it stops being ironic. I seem to remember that actually going like almost back before this channel existed, back on my old YouTube channel. I used to actually very occasionally speak with a New Zealand accent, because I used to make fun of it so much that at certain words I would actually start using the New Zealand pronunciation. Now, of course, it's very different in Australia when you're talking about New Zealand versus the rest of the world. The New Zealanders rip on us and we rip on the New Zealanders. I mean, you wouldn't even believe how low New Zealanders hold, how low of a regard New Zealanders hold Australians. And there's no real reason for it. It's completely spurious. You know, it's like Americans attacking Canadians and vice versa. It's the same shit. It's fucking, you know, totally unnecessary confrontation between two groups of people who really have more in common than they give each other credit. But one thing that I will always hold strong on as an opinion is the fact that the New Zealand accent is disgusting and illogical. And I used to make fun of it a lot. Oh, what are you saying, bro? You know, shit like that. Not even that, that's a bad example. Like, I can't do it anymore because I've trained myself to stop. But they swap a lot of their vowels. I would have to come up with a sentence that was a good example. You know, instead of saying black, they would say black. It's like, yeah, bro, I'm black. I'm black, you know. Like, and you just go, what a gross accent. Extraordinarily, people actually can't hear the difference between an Australian accent and a New Zealand accent, even though vowels are being swapped. It's usually Americans who can't tell the difference. But, seriously. I used to make fun of that accent so much that I was actually, in some instances, unintentionally speaking with a New Zealand accent. And once I really took on board that that was happening, I had to very aggressively curtail my use of the New Zealand accent, even as a joke. Had to be so careful. You know, instead of saying bin, they would say bin, bin. Put it in the bun. Put it in the bun. What the fuck are you saying? Speak English. But, you know, that's the New Zealand accent. Well, thank you, Hossein. I think that's the correct choice. But yeah, I don't really have anything against the New Zealanders. I don't really know anything about them. I think possibly the only thing that I have ever taken issue with when it comes to New Zealanders, like for example in online games, is the fact that they just refuse to be silent about the fact that they're from New Zealand. They always have to, like I think about Call of Duty, they would always put NZ in their clan tag, for example. And if they didn't have it there, they would have it in their fucking name. They would have NZ in their name, or Kiwi, or something like that. They just... Whereas the Australians weren't like that. You know, we were just like, okay, we have an identity that is not related to the fact that we're born in Australia. Whereas these people are so desperate to tell us that they're from New Zealand, as if it actually matters. That they're putting it in their names, the things that they use to represent themselves. You know, and I just remember sitting there going, look, I don't care where you're from. You could be from fucking Papua New Guinea, I wouldn't give a shit. And that's just how it was. That was one thing that I remember. That was like the only thing that I ever had a problem with about New Zealanders. It was that they were so assertive about their cultural identity. While I would be sitting there going, look fella, I don't give a shit. But that's not a bad thing in and of itself. Bit of pride in where you come from. I think it's actually better to have pride in your country than to have precisely zero pride in your country, I think. Whereas in the past I didn't actually think that way. I feel a little bit more that way nowadays than I did when I was younger. New Zealand is just Australia DLC. Yeah, volcanic DLC. Yes, that's a lovely name. Yes. I distinctly remember when I was talking about bin being burn, for example. I remember, and this might sound extraordinary. This might actually blow your mind. I remember the first time that I really started to notice how fucking crazy the New Zealand accent was when I had a group of friends and, you know, there were some New Zealanders there. And one of our friends who was Australian, his name was Ben. They used to call him Bin. 100%, not even joking, not exaggerating the accent. They would call him Bin. Hey Bin. Hey Bin, how you going? Yeah, like... Bin. Like, you're calling him Bin. It's extraordinary. I actually couldn't believe it. That was when I really understood how ridiculous that accent is. And I think it's unfortunate because if a person has a certain accent, they can't really help it. It's not their choice to have a ridiculous accent. But unfortunately, the South African and the New Zealand accent, they're just totally ridiculous because they swap vowels around. And it's illogical. It makes no sense. It's almost like a totally pointless inversion of English. What are you doing, bro? Anyway. Yeah, bin. Hey, bin. Makes me shudder even to remember it. Poor guy. Well, that's a funny coincidence, I see. Now, there are obviously varying degrees of accent. Some would say bun, bun. But like, hand on heart, I was hanging out with people who would say bin, bin. Instead of bun, it was bin. It's extraordinary. Or is that right? No, I'm wrong. No, the I becomes Sorry, I got confused. Yeah, the I becomes and then the E becomes E. It's extraordinary. Instead of Alan, it's Alan. Alan? Ilan. Hey, Ilan. Instead of Alan, it's Ilan. Hey, Ilan. Hey, Ilan. It'd be more like Ilan. Come here, Ilan. Crazy. Apparently, Erdrick was away for a period of time. Am I even continuing this live stream? How long have we been going? 2 hours and 13 minutes. I might actually finish up here, guys, after saying Ilan. I might finish up. I hope you all enjoyed. These live streams, again, it's mostly fairly basic quests. I am aware of the fact that they may become a bit monotonous over time. I'd like to probably hold off on doing Monster Hunter 1 until I've made considerable progress in the game. That might be the better way to approach it. I don't know, we'll see. But for the meantime, I'm going to finish up this recording. I do hope you all enjoyed. It's been a bit of a roller coaster, to be honest, but at any rate, I will disappear for the moment. See you all next time I'm recording. I'm actually going to do a live stream of an update video very soon, like within the next 10 to 15 minutes. So for those of you who want to join me for that, I will see you then. Bye bye for now.